Hello everyone, this side Mayank Jhunjhunwala from IIT Kanpur. So today we will be dealing with application of derivatives chapter. So this is a very nice chapter from mathematics. So let's start with it. So basically, application of derivatives is nothing but the thing we studied in our last lecture about differentiation. That their applications we study in this chapter. So basically, there are three, four types of applications like as it is written in front of you: rate of change of quantity, then maxima minima concept, the normal and tangent concept, and all those like type of things we study here. So let's start with the very first thing: rate of change of quantity. So rate of change of quantity, this is a very general and most important application of derivative as it is written here. For example, to check the rate of change of volume of cube with respect to decreasing sides, we use this derivative thing. All those kind of stuff like मतलब मेरी कोई quantity कैसे change हो रही है. If I am changing some independent variable, then how my dependent variables are changing. To know that, we use application of derivative. Okay, moving ahead. Uh, moving ahead. Increasing and decreasing functions. So what are increasing and decreasing functions? Let me draw it. If a function is going something like this, so it is basically only in increasing side, and if a function is coming something like this, so it is only in decreasing side. So basically, what is there? It is like अगर आपका function is moving only in one direction, which is either increasing or decreasing. So you say that your function is increasing or it is decreasing respectively. So अगर आपका function increasing होगा तो जो आपका differentiation होगा f dash x. In case of increasing, your f dash x would be greater than 0. Okay, and in case of decreasing thing, your f dash x would be less than 0. Your f dash x would be less than 0 in case of decreasing thing. Okay, so these are two things. This is for increasing and this is for decreasing. And if your function is something like constant, it is something like that your function here is neither increasing nor decreasing, then your f dash x would be 0, which implies that at that point the slope of the curve is 0. ठीक है, तो अगर मेरा f dash x 0 है इसका मतलब मेरा function is neither increasing nor decreasing, it is constant at that point. So let's say here my function f dash x is equal to 0, here my f dash x is greater than 0, here my f dash x is less than 0. So basically, if f dash x is greater than 0, I can say that my function is increasing. If it is less than 0, then my function is decreasing. And if it is equal to 0, then my function is a constant function. As simple as that. So let's move ahead. Coming on to tangent and normal concept. So tangent and normal concept is something like, so first thing first, if you draw a tangent to any curve and normal at the same point, so tangent and normal are at 90 degree to each other. So if you know the slope of one, you can easily calculate the other slope by using the formula m1 m2 equal to minus 1. m1 m2 equal to minus 1. आप इस फॉर्मूले को यूज करके आराम से किसी भी दूसरी लाइन का स्लोप निकाल सकते हो जो एक दूसरे के परपेंडिकुलर है बेसिकली. सो टेकिंग जनरल लाइन इक्वल टू y माइनस वाई वन इक्वल टू एम टाइम्स एक्स माइनस एक्स वन एट पॉइंट एक्स वन कमा वाई वन. तो यहाँ पे जो स्लोप होगा दैट वुड बी एफ डैश एक्स. So y minus y1 would be equal to f dash x1 x minus x1 because slope is equal to f dash x. So m is equal to f dash of x1. So this thing is first thing. And then equation of normal. For equation of normal, as I said you, m1 m2 equal to minus 1. So f dash x1 into m2 is equal to minus 1. So from here you will get m2 to be equal to minus 1 upon f dash x1. Okay, so this is your m2. So that's what we are using here for calculating the equation of normal. Y minus y1 is equal to minus 1 upon f dash x1, where f dash x1 is the slope of the tangent drawn at x1 point, multiplied by x minus x1, the normal equation of a straight line. So when we just manipulate it, we will get the particular equation. So these are the two equations of tangent and normal. So please make it clear. And now let's move ahead. Coming on to the concept of maxima and minima. concept of maxima and minima. So इसमें क्या होगा? 1 second. तो अब इसमें क्या होगा? अब इस कॉन्सेप्ट में क्या होगा कि मैक्सिमम मिनिमम क्या होता है? लेट्स से मेरा फंक्शन ऐसे जा रहा है एंड देन दिस गोइंग लाइक दिस. सो बेसिकली इस पॉइंट पे मेरा मैक्सिमा आ रहा है. सो दिस इज नोन एज द मैक्सिमा एंड दिस इज नोन एज द मिनिमा. So if your function is something like this and then it is going down only, so this thing is known as the global maxima, which means it is the maxima of all maximas. मतलब maxima का maxima, that thing would be global maxima, and similarly for global minima it would be something like this. That is, this minima is the global minima is the minima of all minimas. So basically, if the lowest point of the function is your global minima, where the function is turning, and similarly the highest point of the function where the function is turning is known as global maxima. So basically, calculating these maximas and minimas, and all other points are maxima. Like this is maxima, this is maxima, not global. These are local. These are local minima, local minima. So this is known as maxima and minima. So at maxima and minima, for maxima, firstly f dash x is greater than 0, and then f dash x is less than 0. So that's what it is written here. When x is equal to a, if fx is less than equal to fa, for every x in the domain, then fx has an absolute maximum value, and the point a is called the point of maximum value of f. That is, जो मेरी function की maximum value है वो आएगी इस point पे, जिसको मैं a बोल रहा हूँ, and at all the points fx is less than fa, because fa is maximum. So fx is less than equal to fa at all of the points. So my point x equal to a is called the point of absolute maximum. And similarly, when x is equal to a, when fx is less than equal to fa for every x in some open interval at pq, relative maximum value. This is not important, so you can leave it. Then when x is equal to a, if fx is greater than equal to fa, which is in this case, if we let a equal to this point, then my fx is always greater than equal to fa, because fa is minimum, so fa would be less than 0 always. Fa would be less than fx always, so that's what it is written here. When x is equal to a, if fa is less than equal to fx for every x in the domain, then fx has an absolute minimum value, and the point a is called the point of minimum value of f. That is, अगर मेरा maxima का point आएगा, then my fa, मतलब if a is a point of maxima, then fa would be always greater than equal to fx, always greater than equal to fx. And if my point is of local minima, then my fa would be always, fa would be always less than equal to f of x. Okay, so I hope you got it. Moving ahead. So this is a diagram which I wanted to show you. So these are points of local maxima, and then these are points of local minima. And now this is a saddle point. What is saddle point? Saddle point is the point where f dash x is equal to 0. That is, the function is constant at that point. The function is neither increasing nor decreasing. It is something like a straight line. So where f dash x is equal to 0, those points are termed as saddle points. So this point is a saddle point. Okay. Okay, now coming on to monotonicity. What is monotonicity? A function is said to be monotonic if it is either increasing or decreasing as it is written in the entire domain. Like if my function is something like this, I can say that my function is monotonically increasing. If it is something like this, then my function is monotonically decreasing. That is, the function is heading towards one thing only, either increasing or decreasing. So functions are said to be monotonic if they are either increasing or decreasing in the entire domain. This is an important point, in the entire domain. अगर वो entire domain में नहीं होगा तो फिर मैं नहीं बोल सकता कि वो monotonic है. It is said to be monotonic only in the case when the function is either increasing or decreasing in the entire domain. So this is an important point. उसके बाद let me check this point. Functions which are increasing and decreasing in their domain are said to be non-monotonic. मैंने आपको बोला कि अगर वो domain में increase और decrease दोनों हो रहे हैं तो वो non-monotonic होंगे, because they need to be either increasing or decreasing in the entire domain. ठीक है? So I think you should remember this point because this is very important. Then moving ahead, monotonicity of a function at a point. इसको मैं कैसे check करूंगा? I will say like if my function f dash x will be positive, then the function is increasing, जो मैंने आपको बताया था. If my f dash x is greater than 0, then my function is increasing. If my f dash x is less than 0, then my function is decreasing. And if it is equal to 0, then my function is at either maximum or minimum. Because अगर मेरा फंक्शन ऐसे कुछ होगा तो इस पॉइंट पे मेरा फंक्शन की वैल्यू कांस्टेंट है, यहाँ पे मेरा स्लोप 0 है, सो एट दिस पॉइंट माय f dash x will be 0. सो बेसिकली मोनोटोनिसिटी तभी डिफाइन होती है अगर मेरा फंक्शन आइदर पूरा इंक्रीजिंग है या पूरा डिक्रीजिंग है. ठीक है, तो आई होप यू गॉट इट. आगे चलते हैं. पॉइंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेक्शन. व्हाट इज पॉइंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेक्शन? वन सेकंड. So point of inflection is a point where let's say your f dash x is equal to 0 and f double dash x मतलब basically point of inflection वो point है जहाँ पे आपकी curve की concavity change होती है. The point where the concavity of your curve changes, that point is said to be inflection point. Concavity means like your curve is initially this thing and now it becomes like this. That is, firstly it was concave upward and then it's concave downward. So जिस point पे मेरी concavity change हो रही है ना, मतलब curve जिस तरफ open है, वो चीज जहाँ पे change हो रही है उस पॉइंट को that point I will say that point is my point of inflection. Okay, so that is also important. You should remember what is point of inflection because this is seldom asking question that find the point of inflection. So at that time you have to write that thing. Okay, so okay, so this thing is with something of huge importance और इसमें हम लोग point of inflection में मैं f double dash x की बात करता हूँ क्योंकि point of inflection is that point. यहाँ पे मेरा f double dash x change हो रहा होता है, मतलब basically if f double dash x is less than 0 then the curve is said to be concave downward and when f double dash x is less than 0 is greater than 0 then my curve is concave upward. तो जहाँ पे मेरी f double dash x की वैल्यू चेंज होती है, जहाँ उस पॉइंट पे मेरी कॉन्केविटी चेंज होती है, उस पॉइंट पे मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि मेरा जो कर्व है वो पॉइंट ऑफ इन्फ्लेक्शन पे है. ठीक है. Moving ahead. So now let's move on to questions. तो बेसिकली मैंने आपको दो तीन कॉन्सेप्ट बताया जो कि इंपॉर्टेंट थे. एक तो मोनोटोनिसिटी वाला, एक इंक्रीजिंग डिक्रीजिंग वाला, एक रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ फंक्शन वाला, एंड देन वी मूव ऑन टू मैक्सिमम मिनिमा. So now let's move on to some questions. Now questions are important, so please focus on them. In this question, aspect is given to you, and then it is asked you whether it is increasing, decreasing, even, or none of these. So, firstly, for calculating even odd, you need to calculate f of minus x. So, firstly, calculate f of minus x. What is f of minus x? Put minus x here. On putting minus x here, you will get what? You will get e power minus 2x minus 1 upon e power minus 2x plus 1. So, it would be 1 upon e 2x, 1 upon e power minus 2x. So, when you will take LCM, it would be something like this. So you see that this thing and this thing are just there's only a difference of negative sign. So basically from here you are getting your fx to be equal to minus times minus of fx, f of minus x, sorry. ठीक है। सो बेसिकली आपको मिल रहा है कि जो आपका एफ एक्स और एफ माइनस सिक्स है, दे आर नॉट इक्वल बट देयर इज अ डिफरेंस ऑफ माइनस साइन, सो इट इज अ नॉट फंक्शन। तो सी और ऑप्शन तो गलत हो गया। नाउ फॉर इंक्रीजिंग डिक्रीजिंग, एज आई टोल्ड यू, माय फंक्शन इज इंक्रीजिंग इफ माय एफ डैश एक्स इज ग्रेटर देन जीरो। ठीक है, अगर मेरा एफ डैश एक्स ग्रेटर देन जीरो होगा देन माय फंक्शन इज इंक्रीजिंग। सो आई विल कैलकुलेट एफ डैश एक्स। सो कैलकुलेटिंग एफ डैश एक्स, डिनोमिनेटर का स्क्वायर हो जाएगा, देन न्यूमरेटर में कैसे करूंगा, डिनोमिनेटर एज इट इज, denominator as it is into differentiation of numerator, which is 2 times e power 2x minus numerator as it is e power 2x minus 1 into differentiation of denominator, which would be again 2 times e power 2x. Okay, e power 2x. So from here you see that 2 e power 2x into e power 2x, and here 2 e power 2x into e power 2x, plus and minus will cancel out, and here it would be 2 times e power 2x. Here also it would be 2 times e power 2x. So basically you would be left with 4 times e power 2x. Okay, so that's what it is written here. And since it is a square, it will be always positive because square is always positive. And for e power 2x, again, e power x is not always positive, it is never negative because graph of e power x is something like this. So overall, this function is always positive. And since this is always positive, this means my f dash x is always greater than 0. And if f dash x is greater than 0, then my function is increasing. So my right option for this question would be increasing one. Okay, a simple question. For calculating even odd, you check for minus f of minus x, and for calculating increasing decreasing, you will check f dash x. Okay, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Moving on to this question, if fx is equal to 2x cube minus 3x square minus 12x plus 5 and x belongs to minus 2, 4, then the maximum value of function. तो आपको maximum value निकालनी है. तो मेरे को पता है, मैंने maximum value पे आपको क्या बताया था, maximum value पे आता है maxima, और maxima मैंने आपको बताया था कि at maxima f dash x is equal to 0. So basically पहले आपको you need to calculate f dash x and then equate it to 0. So you will get the value of f dash x. You will get the value of x. So calculate f dash x. It would be 3 into 2, 6. 6x square minus 6x minus 12 equal to 0. Okay. So you are getting this thing. From here, take 6 common. You will get x square minus x minus 2 equal to 0. So from here, you will get x minus 2 into x plus 1 equal to 0. So from here you are basically getting two values of x. One is minus 1 and one is 2. So for checking the values of maxima, you will check at all 4 points, at 2, at minus 1, and at both the boundary points, because you need maximum value. So it might be possible that the function is something like this. सो मतलब मैं ये बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि जो मैक्सिमम वैल्यू है वो बाउंड्री पॉइंट्स पे भी आ सकती है. इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज कि वो एफ डैश एक्स इक्वल टू 0 पे ही आए. जो आपको बाउंड्री पॉइंट्स दे रहेंगे उस पर भी आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा कि बाउंड्री पॉइंट्स पे मेरा फंक्शन कॉन्टिन्यूस नहीं होता, मतलब यहाँ पे मेरा फंक्शन ब्रेक कर जाता है. सो इट इज पॉसिबल दैट एट बाउंड्री पॉइंट्स ऑल्सो माई फंक्शन माइट हैव मैक्सिमम वैल्यू. सो यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ फंक्शन एट -2, at 4, at x equal to 2, and at x equal to -1. So you put down the values of x equal to 4, -1, 2, and -2. मतलब आपने चारों पॉइंट पे चेक किया and you got the maximum value to be equal to 37 at x equal to 4, which is again a boundary point. So इसलिए मैंने आपको बोला था कि you have to check at boundaries also, because sometimes it happens that the maximum point comes at the boundary itself. So that's why the answer would be 4 in this question. Okay, moving ahead, moving on to question number 3. It is saying the ratio of height of cone of maximum volume inscribed in a sphere. अच्छा, मतलब मेरे को बोला है कि एक स्फेयर है, उसके अंदर मैंने एक कोन इंस्क्राइब किया है. कोन इज समथिंग लाइक दिस. तो मैं मेरी कोन की मैक्सिमम वैल्यू क्या होगी जो मैं इसमें इंस्क्राइब कर सकता हूँ, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम आस्क्ड. सो बेसिकली मेरे को इस कोन की वॉल्यूम पूछी है. ठीक है, सो कैसे निकालूंगा मैं, लेट्स चेक वन बाय वन स्टेप्स. So diameter I know it is equal to 2r, where r is the radius, and I am letting the radius of cone to be equal to x, where radius is this thing from here to here, from center to here. This is the radius of cone. So I'm letting the radius of cone to be equal to x and height to be equal to y. Height is from apex to the base. This is called as apex, and from apex to the base is called the height, and I am letting height to be equal to y. So you must be knowing the formula for volume of cone. It is equal to 1 by 3 pi radius squared into height, which is 1 by 3 pi x squared into y. So this is my radius, and I am changing my x to 2r minus y, 1 by 3 pi y into x squared. So basically I'm doing what? I'm basically changing, मतलब मेरा total जो diameter है वो 2r है and my height is y, so remaining part would be 2r minus y. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I am calculating my dv with respect to dy. That is, I am changing my whole, मतलब मैं ऐसा चाह रहा हूँ कि I want to convert my volume expression into one variable so that I can differentiate it in that in form of that variable, and I put it equal to 0 so that I can get the maximum value of y or x, whatever I want. So basically what I'm doing here is I am changing my x variable to y, and for changing for x to y, what I need is I want to convert x square equal to 2r minus y. And how I converted that? Uh, so basically what I did here is I wrote x square equal to y times 2r minus y. Okay, so I wrote it equal to this thing. So 2r minus y is nothing but the difference of height, like this thing is 2r minus y and y is this thing. So y into 2r minus y is the entire radius. मतलब अगर मैं आपको इसको समझाऊं तो ऐसे मान लो, this is my cone. Okay, and since my cone is symmetric from all points, so if this is my height y and this is the radius of cone, which is x. So what I can say is, if this is my sphere, let's say this is my sphere. So I am saying what, that this y into this distance, which is 2r minus y, because the diameter is 2r and the maximum value of cone would be at the center only. So y into 2r minus y would be equal to 2x, would be equal to x, basically, would be equal to this distance, because it is symmetric from all sides. So basically that's why I changed x squared equal to y into 2r minus y, so that I can change my entire equation into one variable, which is y. From there I differentiated with respect to y and I got dv by dy equal to 0. From there I got two values of y, which is 4 by 3r comma 0. These are two values of y, so I will put y value and I will check that for what value of y I am getting maximum value. So basically I can do it that way also, or I can even calculate double differential. After calculating double differential, I will put the value of y and the value of y for which my double differential is coming to be negative. At that point, the volume of cone is maximum. So here there is again one concept which let me tell to you. 1 second. Okay, so let me tell it to you here only. If my f dash x is equal to 0, and I want to know that मेरे को पता है ना कि f dash x equal to 0 पे दो चीज हो सकती है, it can be maxima or it can be minima. So if I want to know that it is maxima or minima, so what will I do? I will calculate f double dash x, and if my f double dash x is coming to be negative, less than 0, then I can say that this point is a point of maxima. Then please remember it, this is slightly inverse. मतलब अगर मेरा f double dash x negative आ रहा है, then I can say that this is the point of maxima. And if my f double dash x is coming to be equal to greater than 0, then I can say that it is a point of minima. So basically here it is opposite. For maxima it is less than 0 and for minima it is greater than 0. And this I will check when my f dash x is equal to 0. So I calculated my dv by dy. I put it equal to 0. I got two values of y. So for checking that at what value of y I will get maxima, I calculated double differential and then I put the values of y there. So for 4r by 3 I'm getting negative value. So basically 4r by 3 is the point at which my volume of cone is maximum. So I calculated the value of y for which my volume of cone is maximum, and I am asked what I am asked is the height of cone of maximum volume to the radius. So it is y by r. So 4 by 3 is my right answer to this question. Okay. तो I hope समझ में आया होगा. It was not tough. Just first change it into one variable and then calculate respective differentials. From there you will get your answer. Coming into this question, if AB is equal to 2A plus 3B, then the minimum value of AB is what? Okay, so you need to calculate minimum value of AB. So इसका भी concept वही है which we used in the last question. Since there are two variables and you need to calculate differential, so try try to change it in one variable. So let's calculate the value of B here in terms of A. So calculating in terms of A, so I will take 3B that side, I will get A minus 3B is equal to 2A. From there I calculated the value of B. Okay, and now what I want the minimum value of AB. So AB is equal to what? AB is equal to A into value of B in terms of A, which I calculated from here. So my AB is equal to 2A squared upon A minus 3. Now I want the minimum value of AB. So just differentiate it with respect to A and put it equal to 0. So on differentiating, denominator will be squared. So it would be A minus 3 square. And numerator would be what? A minus 3 as it is into 2A square differential is 4A. So from here you are getting 2 into 2A 4A minus numerator as it is 2A square into A minus 3 ka differential, that would be 1. So from here we are getting minus 2A square. So you are getting this thing, put it equal to 0. So basically you are getting A common into A minus 6 equal to 0. You are getting this thing, okay? So from here you are getting two values of A, one equal to 6 and another equal to 0. So from you are getting two values of A. So as I told you, when you get two values for f dash x equal to 0, you calculate f double dash x. So calculate f double dash x. On calculating f double dash x and putting A equal to 6, you are getting this at x equal to 6, you are getting positive value. And you know that when f double dash x is positive, then only that point is the point of minima. Because in f double dash x, here it is inverse case, that is when it is positive, then you got minima, and when it is negative, you get maxima. Since you are getting positive, so at A equal to 6, the value of AB is minimum. So put the value of A equal to 6 here, you will get 2 into 6 squared upon 6 minus 3, that is equal to 24. So minimum value of AB is equal to 24. So 24 is your answer. Okay? So basically learn the concept of this type of problems. Whenever maximum and minimum of some function is asked to you, first convert that function into function of one variable so that you can differentiate that function into variable into that function into so that you can differentiate that function with respect to that independent variable and then put it equal to 0. If from there you are getting two values of your independent variable, then calculate double differential, and if it is less than 0, then you will get maxima, and if it is greater than 0, you will get minima. From there you can just calculate the value of maximum minima whatever is being asked to you. Okay, so simple concept, but please keep it in your mind. Coming on to this question, if y is equal to cot inverse of root of cos 2x, then find the value of dy by dx at x equal to pi by 6. Okay, so simply differentiate it. You know that the differential of cot inverse x is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. So here x is equal to cos 2x, so minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. X is equal to cos 2x power half. So इसका square करूंगा तो half will cancel. So we will get minus 1 upon 1 plus cos 2x. Then the differential of cos 2x would be differential of cos 2x power half, that would be 1 upon 2 times root of cos 2x. Then differential of cos 2x, that is equal to minus 2 sin 2x. So this is the entire differential, which is chain differentiation, which we studied in the differentiation chapter. But अगर समझ में नहीं आया, so let me tell it once again. Differentiation of cot inverse x is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. So minus 1 upon 1 plus इसका square हो जाएगा cos 2x into differential of this thing. This thing is something like x power half. So x power half का differential होता है 1 upon 2 root x. So 1 upon 2 root x, और फिर cos 2x का differentiation करूंगा तो it would be minus 2 sin 2x. ठीक है? Then just put the value of x equal to pi by 6. Putting x equal to pi by 6, you will get 1 by root 3 divided by cos pi by 3, which is cos 60, which is half. So 1 by root 3 divided by 1 by root 2, your final answer would be root 2 by 3. Okay? So simple question. Moving ahead. In this question, it is given to you f of x plus y is equal to fx into f of y. This thing is given to you, and then they are asking f5 is in f dash 0 is also given, and they are asking f dash 5. So f dash 5 is asked. So just f5 is also given to you, f0 is given to you. So just apply your brain and put x and y equal to 5 and 0. मतलब इसमें थोड़ा आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कि what values you have to put, because f of 5 is asked to you and value of 5 and 0 is given, so you can put x equal to 5 and y equal to 0. From there you will get f5 equal to f5 into f0, and f0 is not given to you, but f5 and f5 will cancel, and from here you will get that f0 is equal to 1. So basically putting x equal to 5 and y equal to 0, you are getting one important information that f0 is equal to 1. Okay, then what is asked to you? They are asking you f dash 5, and the value of f dash 5 you can just calculate with the differentiation formula, which is limit of h tending to 0, f of 5 plus h minus f of 5 divided by h. Now just open the function. F of 5 plus h will be f of 5 into f of h minus f of 5 divided by h. And from here, you know that f of 5 is equal to 2. So you can take 2 outside because f of 5 is common. So 2 times f of h minus 1 divided by h. Okay. And then this thing is 1 is nothing but f of 0. So it is f of h minus f of 0 divided by h. So it is f dash 0 only, because you know that f dash x is equal to f dash x plus h minus f dash x divided by h. Okay, so from here, if you put x equal to 0, you will get f dash 0 to be equal to f dash h minus f dash 0 upon h. That's what it is written here. Not f dash, sorry. It would be simple f only. So it would be f of 0, sorry. So it would be f of h minus f of 0 divided by h. That's what it is written here. So it is f dash 0, and f dash 0 is given to you as 3. So your final answer would be 6. Okay. So basically this information was important so that you can substitute here 1 equal to f of 0. From there only you can say that this thing is equal to f dash 0. Because अगर आपने ये calculate नहीं किया होता, then you would not have replaced this thing with f of 0, and then you can't have reached to this consequence. So that's why this thing was important, and from here you got your final answer to be equal to 6. Okay, so observation was important here. I hope you got it. Moving on to the next question. If x e power xy is equal to y plus sine square x, then at x equal to 0, what is the value of dy by dx? Okay, so simply calculate. Firstly, simply calculate dy by dx. So x is equal to x का differentiation 1 into e power xy plus x as it is into differentiation of e power xy would be e power xy into differentiation of xy, that is y plus x dy by dx. Okay, is equal to dy by dx plus differentiation of sine square x would be 2 sin x cos x. 2 sin x cos x. Okay, so from here, since it is x equal to 0, so putting x equal to 0, this thing would be 0, this thing would be 0, so y is equal to 0. So basically, now put the value of x equal to 0 and y equal to 0 here. So you will get 1 plus this thing will convert to 0 equal to dy by dx plus sine 0 is again 0, so plus 0. So from here, you are getting the value of dy by dx to be equal to 1. So 1 is your final answer. Fairly simple question. Okay. So moving ahead, at what points of the curve tangent makes equal angle with the axis? Okay, so आपको बताना है कि एक्सिस मतलब दोनों एक्सिस जो है x और y एक्सिस उससे इक्वल एंगल को बनाने वाली टेंजेंट का आपको पॉइंट बताने हैं, किस पॉइंट पे वाली टेंजेंट होगी. सो फर्स्टली टेंजेंट का स्लोप निकालेंगे हम लोग. कैसे निकालेंगे? dy by dx से. So dy by dx is 3x square, so 3 and 3 will cancel, so you will get 2x square plus x. This is my dy by dx, and since it is making equal angle with the axis, so और दोनों axis बीच में angle होता है 90 degree, तो total angle हो जाएगा 90 degree. So दोनों से equal angle बना रही है, so theta plus theta should be equal to 90 degree. So यहाँ से आपको theta आ जाएगा 45 degree. मतलब it should make angle equal to 45 degree with both x and y axis. So dy by dx कितना हो जाएगा? Tan 45, क्योंकि that is making an angle of 45 degree with x axis. So मेरे को पता है ना कि जो मेरी dy by dx होता है वो होता है slope, and slope is taken with respect to x axis only. So इसमें दिया हुआ है कि दोनों से equal angle बना रही है, मतलब x axis से वो 45 degree बना रही है, मतलब जो dy by dx है वो मेरा प्लस माइनस 45 डिग्री कुछ भी हो सकता है, और मेरे को पता है कि जो tan होता है वो ऑड फंक्शन होता है, सो दैट वुड बी प्लस माइनस tan 45 डिग्री, दैट इज इक्वल टू प्लस माइनस 1. सो जो मेरे पास स्लोप आया 2x स्क्वायर प्लस x, इसको मैं इक्वल कर दूंगा प्लस माइनस 1 के. सो अगर मैं पॉजिटिव साइन लूंगा तो मेरे को x की वैल्यू मिलेगी हाफ और माइनस 1, and if I will take a negative sign, then I will get the value of x to be equal to minus 1 by 6. तो बेसिकली मेरे को दो पॉइंट्स मिल रहे हैं, एक मिल रहा है हाफ कॉमा 5 by 24 और एक मिल रहा है माइनस 1 कॉमा माइनस 1 by 6. दैट इज अगर मैं इन दोनों पॉइंट्स पे if I will draw tangents at these 2 points, then I can say that my function is that slope of tangent is equal to both is making an equal angle with both the axis, x axis and y axis. So इसमें मैंने क्या किया, इसमें मेरे को क्या बोला था, इसमें मेरे को बोला गया था that my I have to draw that tangent that is making equal angle with both the axis, x axis and y axis. ठीक है. So basically मेरे को पता है कि दोनों axis के बीच में angle is 90 degree. So the summation of both the angles should be equal to 90 degree. So 2 theta is equal to 90 degree. From there I am getting theta equal to 45 degree. And so जो tangent है वो x axis से 45 degree बना रही है. So that is equal to plus minus 1. So basically मेरे को दो equation मिली, एक मिली 2x square plus x equal to 1, and second equation I got is 2x square plus x equal to minus 1. I got these two equations. Okay. So now I just solve this quadratic equation. I got 2x minus 1x plus 1 equal to 0. From there I got two values for x. Similarly I solved the second equation. I got two values of, मतलब basically तो मेरे को दो values of x मिली, उसके लिए मैंने value of y calculate किया from putting it here. And from there I got my final answer as half comma 5 by 24 and minus 1 comma minus 1 by 6. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. In this question, fx is given to me as ln of pi plus x upon ln of e plus x, and they're asking if it is increasing or decreasing. So this type of questions we have done earlier also. For calculating increasing or decreasing, you need to calculate f dash x. So calculate f dash x, denominator square is simple apply. You will simply apply quotient rule. So denominator square into denominator as it is into differentiation of ln of pi plus x, which is 1 upon pi plus x, minus numerator as it is ln of pi plus x into differentiation of denominator, which is 1 upon e plus x. Okay. So from here, take LCM, you will get e plus x ln of e plus x minus pi plus x ln of pi plus x upon this thing. So basically what you are getting is, you know that this is x ln x type of thing, x ln x type of thing. Okay. So you know that the ln of something which is e plus x minus pi plus x into ln of pi plus x. So basically you know that x ln x is increasing function because x is increasing, ln x is increasing function. So increasing into increasing is an increasing function. This function is something like x ln x, no? Because here it is x, here also the same thing. Here it is same thing and here also same thing. And you know that x is an increasing function, ln x is an increasing function. So increasing into increasing is an increasing function only. And so basically this is increasing function. And the value of e plus x would be greater than pi plus x. So basically, no, e plus x value would be less than pi plus x. So basically what I'm saying is e plus x is less than pi plus x. So this thing is numerator is negative. Okay? Because my x ln x is increasing function. Because my x ln x is increasing function. क्योंकि मेरा y equal to x increasing function है, y equal to ln x increasing function है, तो increasing into increasing will form an increasing function. तो बेसिकली मेरा x के बनने के साथ मेरा फंक्शन इंक्रीज होना चाहिए, लेकिन e प्लस x जो होता है पाई प्लस x से कम होता है, बिकॉज पाई इज 3.14 एंड e इज 2.7. सो दिस थिंग इज ग्रेटर देन दिस थिंग. सो न्यूमरेटर में नेगेटिव है, डिनोमिनेटर में स्क्वायर है, स्क्वायर इज ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव, एंड e प्लस x इंटू पाई प्लस x भी पॉजिटिव ही होगा क्योंकि e एंड पाई बोथ आर पॉजिटिव. So basically I can say that my numerator is negative and denominator is positive. So overall my f dash x is coming out to be negative. अगर मेरा f dash x negative है इसका मतलब मेरा function जो है वो इस interval में decreasing है, and I will take x equal I will take from 0 to infinity only because मेरे को पता नहीं है अगर मेरा x ज़्यादा negative हो गया तो मेरा numerator negative भी हो सकता है, तो इसलिए मेरे को 0 to infinity में बोल सकता हूँ कि and 0 to infinity my f(x) is decreasing because my f dash x is coming to be less than 0. Okay, so here we end our discussion on differentiation chapter. I hope you got the concepts. Basically, concept तो क्या एक ही है कि आपको f dash x निकालना है. You need to calculate f dash x from f dash x. If it is coming greater than 0, you will say that your function is increasing. If it is coming less than 0, you will say that the function is decreasing. And if it is coming equal to 0, then you will calculate f double dash x. Then if f double dash x is greater than 0, then you will get a minima. And if f double dash x is less than 0, then you will get a maxima. So ये concept आपको आना चाहिए कि अगर आपका function जो है f double dash x, if it is greater than 0, then only you can say that you will get a minima. मतलब it is invertible. मतलब अगर मेरे को greater than 0 मिल रहा है, then I will not say that there is a maximum, but there is a minima. So if f dash x is equal to 0 and f double dash x is less than 0, then you will get maxima. And if f dash x is equal to 0 and f double dash x less than 0, then you will get a maxima. Okay, and the other concepts of monotonicity, if my function is continuously increasing or decreasing in an interval, then I can say that my function is monotonic and something like that. Okay, so I hope you got the concepts. So okay, now we can end the meeting. Thank you. Let me took one more point because I think there is some problem with the. Okay, no problem. Let me take one more point. Here. So here I can write. We can make a table basically. F dash x f double dash x and here the meaning of that thing. Okay, so basically if my f dash x is greater than 0, then my function is increasing. Okay, if my f dash x is less than 0, then my function is decreasing. And if my f dash x is equal to 0, then I can't say anything with f dash x because at that point I can have maxima, at that point I can have minima also, and at that point there can be nothing also. Matlab, I can even get something like this. So at this point I don't have maxima, I don't have minima, but my f dash x is equal to 0. So at this point there is no maxima, no minima. So basically equal to 0 also comprises three cases: when f double dash x is greater than 0, when f double dash x is less than 0, and when f double dash x is equal to 0. Okay, so basically if it is greater than 0, then I can say that I am getting a minima. Okay, I am getting a minima. And if it is less than 0, then I am getting a maxima. Okay, and if it is equal to 0, so equal to 0 I can say nothing. So here I will say that neither maxima nor minima, neither maxima nor minima. Okay, in that case I will calculate f triple dash x and then go ahead, but that thing is not very much useful in JEE-Main, so that is of no use to you. But basically, you have to capture this point that f double dash x basically tells you about the concavity of the curve. If f double dash x is changing at some point, then basically the concavity of your curve is changing. Like, let's say if your curve was initially like this and then turn like this. So basically at this point, let's say this point is A. At this point, f double dash x will change from positive to negative or from negative to positive. Basically that will define that the concavity of your curve is changing. Okay, and the second use of f double dash x is talking about maxima and minima. If f double dash x is greater than 0, you will get minima, and if it is less than 0, then you will get maxima. Okay, and for monotonicity you can check using f dash x only. And I hope you got it. For tangent and normal, there is no need of f double dash x. You just need to calculate the slope of the curve by dy by dx. At that point, you will get the slope, and the slope of that thing will be the slope of tangent, which I taught you here. Like at this point, the slope of tangent would be dy by dx. Slope of tangent would be dy by dx. So dy by dx is the slope of tangent, and when we draw perpendicular to it, we say it to be equal to normal. One more thing: in case of circle, the normal passes to the center of circle. So basically, at some point, let's say at this point, if we want to draw a tangent, so the normal will pass and make an angle 90 degree from the center of circle. Okay. So the slope of normal is nothing but it will be perpendicular to the slope of a tangent. So dy by dx of normal would be equal to minus 1 upon dy by dx of tangent. That's why we put it equal to minus 1 upon f dash x. From there, we got the equation of normal and the equation of tangent simply by using the equation of line y minus y1 equal to f dash x times x minus x1. Okay, so that was about tangent and normal. Then maximum and minimum I told you, saddle point I told you. If f dash x equal to 0 at some point, then I can say that at that point I'm getting the saddle point. Okay. One more thing which is not written here. Here it is local minima, but it is also called as global minima because it is the minimum. Because it's the maxima of all maximas, and similarly, global minima is the minimum of all minimas. Okay. Then monotonicity I told you. If my function is either increasing in the whole interval or decreasing in the whole interval, then my function is said to be monotonic. Point of inflection, the point at which my f double dash x is changing, that is from less than 0 to equal to 0 to greater than 0, or from greater than 0 to be equal to 0 to less than 0. It is at the point where my f double dash x is changing its value. That point is called as point of inflection. That is the point at which the concavity of my curve changes from concave up to concave down, or from concave down to concave up. Okay, one example is given here, like f dash x equal to cos x, f double dash x equal to sin x. So at whenever f double dash x is equal to 0, at x equal to n pi, the concavity of sin x changes. Like if I will draw the curve of sin x, it is something like this. Okay, so you can see that at every x equal to n pi here, initially the curve was concave down, and at x equal to n pi, it became concave up. Similarly, here the curve became concave down. So at every x equal to n pi, the concavity of curve is changing. At here the curve was concave down, here the curve was concave up. So the points where my concavity changes, all those points I can say that those points are said to be point of inflections. मतलब वो ऐसा होना कि पहले एफ डबल डैश एक्स लेस देन 0 होगा, फिर वो ग्रेटर देन 0 हो जाएगा, तो बीच में उसको 0 भी होना पड़ेगा, because this is basic intermediate value theorem that when a function is going from positive to negative, then it should pass to 0 at least once. So basically point of inflection कभी मुझे निकालना हो, though I will put f double dash x equal to 0, and all those points where f double dash x equal to 0 is coming, I can say that those points are my point of inflection. Okay, so this was one other important point. Then we did some questions, and I hope you understood it. The main concept that for calculating increasing decreasing functions, you need to change your function to one variable so that you can differentiate it in that point. Like if your function is given into variable form, convert one variable into another variable form, and then define the function in that one variable form so that you can differentiate it with respect to that independent variable, and then do the calculations which needed, either equal to 0, less than 0, greater than 0, according to increasing, decreasing, maximum, minima concept. Okay, so I hope you understood each and every concept of this chapter. And one more thing, this chapter is very, very important for JEE Mains. Matlab, you can easily expect at least two to three questions in JEE Main from mathematics section in your JEE Mains paper. So I hope you got this, and please practice more and more questions on this concept so that you can easily solve the questions in the paper. Okay, so with this note, let's end this lecture now.